All right, welcome into the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. I am Chase Sr., and coming up, some major Niners news pertaining to San Francisco's 2024 schedule and some big implications within the slate, an in-depth look as to what to expect with this schedule. You're not going to get this information anywhere else. Before we take a look at all of that information, let's hear from you. If you think the 49ers will make the playoffs once again, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. And while you're venturing down to the comment section, feel free to drop your Niners record prediction. Let's begin by laying the foundation, setting the table, so to speak, and let's take a look at this Niners 2024 schedule. Gets underway week 1 against the New York Jets, Monday Night Football in prime time. Then the Niners will hit the road to play the Minnesota Vikings. They have not won in Minneapolis since 1992. Another road game for San Francisco as they open up NFC West play against the Los Angeles Rams. Week 4 back at Levi's Stadium for the first time since week 1. New England Patriots. The Gerard Mayo era is underway. Another divisional game in week 5 against the Arizona Cardinals. Week 6, short week for San Francisco. They go to Seattle to play the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Week 7, Super Bowl rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 8, Sunday Night Football tilt against the Dallas Cowboys. Niners bye week falls in week 9. I like where that's positioned here. Week 10, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 11, back home against the Seattle Seahawks, the second of those two matchups against the NFC West foe. Week 12, Green Bay Packers, frozen tundra, Lambeau Field, on the road there. Then San Francisco, I'm wondering if they're going to stay somewhere in the Midwest here. They play the Buffalo Bills, also on the road, Sunday Night Football. Week 14, we get a glimpse at Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears at Levi's Stadium. Another home game against the Los Angeles Rams, and another Thursday Night Football matchup. Then the Niners will go across the country to play the Miami Dolphins and Mike McDaniel. And then the last two games at home against the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football, a rematch of the NFC Championship game in which the Niners storm back from 17 points, and then the regular season comes to a close. Hopefully this is a playoff primer for the Niners on the road in the desert against the Arizona Cardinals. As for the major Niners news and major developments pertaining to this schedule, we're going to go section by section here, and I guarantee you're going to be fascinated by some of this information that we've gathered here at Chat Sports. The Niners travel. Let's begin there. Last year, San Francisco traveled the second most miles in the National Football League. This year, it's not as bad, but the 49ers will travel the 5th most miles. To be specific, 24,575 miles will be logged for the Niners through the air, and the Niners travel will span 28 different time zones in 2024. A great breakdown and a look at this chart here, and I always like how these charts provide a visual representation for statistics like this and data like this. The Los Angeles Chargers going to travel the most miles in the NFL at nearly 27,000, going across nearly 40 different time zones. And in order, Chargers the most miles, followed by the Miami Dolphins, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Rams atop that list. Of course, what's the big theme there? A lot of teams who are on the West Coast, it's already a built-in disadvantage for the teams out West, and the linear travel for all 32 teams is what you're seeing here. Those numbers do include the mileage for international games as well. Speaking of international games, there was some speculation, some chatter that the Niners were going to have to travel across the Atlantic Ocean, across the pond to play in the UK against the Minnesota Vikings. Not going to have to do that. So luckily for San Francisco, that would stack up a lot of mileage. No international games on the slate for the Niners. Ideally, an international game in the future could be in Mexico. Not far travel, and the fan base in Mexico, massive for the Niners. Coming in at number 2. This is the biggest topic of conversation right now following the release of the Niners schedule. And it's the topic of the rest disadvantage for the second consecutive year for the Niners here. the Niners' rest disadvantage is minus 22. In 2023, the 49ers' rest disadvantage was minus 20. So this year, it's even worse. And San Francisco will play 4 teams coming off bye weeks on the 2024 schedule. Last year, I believe it was 5 teams coming off bye weeks, and that's difficult for the Niners because they're playing against teams that are more rested than them. So the 49ers will have a rest advantage over the Miami Dolphins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both of those games on the road for the Niners. But they have the rest disadvantage against the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. So it's actually 5 games there that the Niners have the rest disadvantage against. And the marquee game there is the Kansas City Chiefs off the bye. Now, the Niners have a mini bye week. They play the Chiefs coming off Thursday Night Football. So a week and a half, but the Chiefs have basically 2 weeks of rest. And consider the opponent at hand here. It's Andy Reid and Kansas City. And Andy Reid, in his coaching career, is a combined 28-3 off the bye week. But look, I'm not using this as an excuse. When you're an elite team, you're going to have a tough schedule. When you win the division, you're going to take on the first place teams in the other divisions that you're facing. And that's just the byproduct of when you win consistently in this league. It's also a league of parity. And the turnover effect year to year is great in the NFL. And that's why we see thrillers and theatrics year in and year out. Now, I will be concerned if the Niners cannot stay healthy. So let's hope that the Niners are able to avoid the injury bug, because that 2020 season was a disaster. Now, the Niners, every year under Kyle Shanahan going into last year, we're not sure of this data yet, were top 10 in injury rate, meaning they were one of the top 10 most injured teams. So if they're banged up, it could be a long year because the schedule is difficult and they have the rest disadvantage against 5 clubs. Before we continue to move forward, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We've been able to pick up a lot of subscribers this week. To all of the new subscribers, thank you so much for supporting the program. And as you can see here, 238 subs away from 133,000. We're having a monthly sub battle with Seahawks today. Not only do we want to kick their ass on the football field, we want to beat them up inside the walls here at Chat Sports. Let's get that dub. And all you got to do is hit that sub button for daily and year-round coverage on the Niners. I want to welcome a brand new sponsor here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Welcome Chubbies to the program. You can get 20% off your purchase at chubbiesshorts.com/chat. Sky's out, thighs out. Summer is right around the corner, and as you can see, I'm wearing my Chubby shorts in this video as we take you through the Chat Sports studios for a behind-the-scenes look, and you can see how great my legs are looking in these Chubby shorts. They're bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know that you're down for a good time? Come on now. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel, from super stretchy shorts like the pair that I'm wearing in this video, and swim trunks in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot or get some drinks out on the town. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. Got your new swimsuit lined up for the summer? If not, check out Chubbies and their classic lined swim collection. Their swim trunks feature quick-drying 4-way stretch fabric, an elastic waistband, single zippered back pocket, and built-in mesh boxer brief liner. For a limited time only, listen up, Chubbies is giving our viewers and our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. And all you have to do is plug in the code CHAT at chubbysshorts.com/chat. We'll put that link down below in the show notes as well as in the comment section of this video. It'll also be attached to the pinned comment on today's San Francisco 49ers report. Back to the schedule here. Chilly. Brrr. The Niners going to be facing some cold weather games later on in the season. In particular, two matchups we want to discuss here. And they do have some Florida matchups later in the year too, against Tampa Bay and against Miami. That's easy though. It's a warmer weather climate in Northern California, so not going to be much of an adjustment. Cold weather games, sometimes they are, especially for one quarterback in particular on this Niners roster. First, let's take a look at this Week 12 matchup against the Green Bay Packers. At Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This game going to be taking place on November 24th. The average temperature on that day, I told you, you're not going to get this in-depth analysis anywhere else, is between 29 degrees and 37 degrees. So you can expect this game to be colder, especially once the sun starts to go down, because kickoff is set for 4:25 p.m. Eastern. The Packers nearly upset the Niners in the NFL playoffs. That game went down to the final moments. Dre Greenlaw with the second interception of Jordan Love, chalking that game away. And the Packers, a balanced offense. They got hot last year. They crushed the Dallas Cowboys in the wild card round. And if Jordan Love can take another step, he has plenty of weapons at his disposal. Next up, cold weather game. Week 13 against the Buffalo Bills. Not only are these games late November, early December, they're back-to-back consecutive weeks here. And we know that the weather can be inclement in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as well as in Buffalo. The average temperature on December 1st in Buffalo, 34 degrees to 39 degrees. But it could be even colder because kickoff is set prime time. Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. And as we know, I talked about that quarterback just a few moments ago. Brock Purdy has struggled throwing in the rain, throwing in the cold. And he grew up in Arizona. So factor that in. He did play at Iowa State, but there aren't a bunch of difficult weather games as far as the temperature goes like Green Bay, like Buffalo when you're playing at Iowa State. Now you're playing in the Big 12, and of course you're in the Midwest for a lot of those games, but you're also playing a lot of warm weather games. And when it comes to mind, the Cleveland game last year, the Packers game in the playoffs, Brock Purdy has struggled to grip the football and get velocity behind the football in the rain and in the cold, and we could even have some snow potentially in play for those two games. Next up, let's get to the toughest stretch, in my opinion, on the Niners schedule here as part of our schedule developments video. For me, I think it's week 6 through 8. Niners have an opportunity to get off to a fast start. And that New York Jets game, going to be a hard one, might be the best defense they play all year. They're going to have to win that game to really set the table for the rest of the way. Because the schedule does have some difficult components to it. Weather, difficult teams. Week 6 through 8, though, you have the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Then you have the Chiefs off the bye and the Cowboys coming off the bye. That latter game on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs and Cowboys going to have that rest advantage over the Niners here, but that's 3 consecutive big-time rivalry games for the Niners in which emotions will be running high. And then coming in at number 5 here, the primetime matchups. And this is something to look forward to. Nationwide, worldwide brand, iconic logo, fan base that is passionate and intense, a really good team, and all eyes on the San Francisco 49ers. You also are playing in a big media market in the Bay Area. And the Niners here, here's the breakdown of primetime games. They are tied with the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets for 6 primetime games, the most in the National Football League. And then you have those teams with 5. That includes the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Rams, Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, and Green Bay Packers. You want to be in that conversation. You want to be in that upper echelon of primetime games because that means that you draw television ratings, you're a good team, and you're a talked about ball club. As for those Niners primetime games, we have that for you as well. It starts right from the jump, right from the onset of the season, week 1 against the Jets on Monday Night Football. And then the next primetime game, not until week 6, Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. Next one, week 8 against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Then you have the Bills again on Sunday Night Football. Another Thursday Night Football matchup against the Rams, week 15. And the second of 2 Monday Night Football games here, NFC Championship game rematch against those aforementioned Detroit Lions. Let's round out with this. What do you think the Niners' record will be? Join the conversation down below in the comment section. By the time you're watching this, we may have put out our record prediction video. And make sure you give me a follow on X, on Instagram. Everything's blowing up on that front for me, putting out a lot of short-form content and just keeping you in the know with all things Niners.